All right, Grand Rising, everyone. It's Shay Seeking again, or Shalonda, and I'm back. All right, so yeah, I'm just sitting down here in my craft room. It's too much going on upstairs, so um, yeah, too much noise. So, anyways, I do think, like, again, this always makes me think about some kind of mixing of DNA or some kind of um, joining together or some kind of union or something like that. And again, we got this lion here on top. You know, it's kind of like a lion dragon flying thing. Um, but it's almost like it's hovering over, it's swooping down. Like, I think this is when it talks about the eagle swooping down and consuming things here in the text, right? In Deuteronomy, the warnings if you let some people come into the land. And that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if we're doing that same thing again. So, yeah. Whew. But this it looks very, this person, this energy looks very angry, right? And maybe it's just salty also that the union is really the two cups were shared, right, by these two entities. But again, oh wait, I didn't even notice that. Look at this. It kind of looked like there's a spout or something on this cup, and that is pouring into this thing here. And it's, like I get the medical sign here. What is that on my finger? Oh, lipstick. I get like the medical sign here. I mean, I get like a medical energy here. And then again, it's not gonna, it looks like something is being put into this here, right? And this thing, this lion is pissed off, right? But also, it's not stopping the lion, I guess, from probably getting the whatever this is filled up, you know, kind of look like a DNA strand or something almost, right? And then running, flying off with it. It's not gonna stop that, right? So it just makes you wonder, man. And then now we're sitting here within this energy here. We got the curtain of this water behind this man. You know, he's got this white, well, it's white and black. It's kind of gray looking to me, but you see what I'm saying. He's got shoes like the sand of the sea. His bench or his stool is like the sand of the sea, but he has a red turban on, and he's looking like, yeah, I got it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's not the Ten of Cups. Excuse me. It's the Nine of Cups, but I don't know. I see a lot of sand and water here. Okay, and the only red, is again a covering, something. Somebody can be cloaked or covered in something, again, of the earth. But they're in the likeness of it, but it's not really it. I'm telling you, I just feel like that's what that makes me. That's what the red turban. So again, it gives somebody mighty power and privilege. But again, unfortunately, I just feel like it's not of the earth. It's in the likeness of, or when earth joins with the earth. That's just how I feel. Okay, because again, there shouldn't be, these people should not be treated differently, right? These people should not be treated differently. But to me, for reasons of being somebody that studies this story or his story, it's important to be able to talk about these things and share them with our children. Anyone who is against that is not in their right mind. It's something that is lacking in the so-called, it's not, you can't just clean up the neighborhoods, you can't clean up the streets. You have to clean up that which has been done to these people and fill them back up with what's rightfully theirs, and that's the knowledge of their selves. You have to know yourself, right? And then you also have to know who you are, to know where you came from, to know where you're going to be going, right? So it's just like, it does something to purify the soul. It's more than just, oh, we can clean up those ghettos or those neighborhoods. No, it's more than that. You have to clean up the way, the mindset, because a lot of things, I wouldn't say racism, but it affects the soul. It affects the something that's deeply rooted within the people, right? Remind me of this card. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's just like deeply rooted in society that has to be addressed, right? So again, justice, right? Okay. With Audre Lorde, right? You see all this stuff floating around in this dark, murky water? These eyes too, but she's holding these roots in her hand and she's willing to die. You see what I'm saying? Or we can look at this in another way. She's holding these roots in the hand, but she still has a red turban on. So it's in the likeness of the earth. But really, you know what I'm saying? Are these somebody else's roots that she's going to try to plant? And if you don't agree with it, then off with your head. Do you see what I'm saying? Also, that energy too, because again, when it came down to some of the graphic things that we know, we supposedly know about some of these religions, you know, it was off, it was death. It was this or death, right? So again, it's like she has somebody's roots, and the roots look concerned. You know, it's like, oh no. You know what I'm saying? The roots are like, You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that's the energy that I'm getting here. And again, people are upset because I'm speaking in the way that I'm speaking, thinking like it's racist or it's separating. No. What has been done here is an injustice in its own. So again, these children growing up need to know who they are. If you are not someone that descends from these people that this thing happened to, this mistaken identity, right? This thing, there's no other people in the world that have experienced what the so-called African American has experienced. Not even if you came here in 1963, if your parents came in here in 1860, whatever it is, because some of our family members, again, our family trees are people that came in here at those times, and I will never deny those people. But we're talking about the story that was hidden prior to Genesis, that is stored here within some of us in our makeup. And the only reason why some of us have been able to approach that is because we did unchain the mind or the brain. And there's always more that we can learn, you know, in ways that we can grow. But again, you can't just come and just clean something up on the outside, like a neighborhood or a people. No, you have to do it. We always have to get to the root of them. And again, this card to me makes me think that people can help in that. But you have to know where they need to know where they stand. And it's not over the real children of the Holy Land. It is not over the real children of Israel. And Israel does have the right to defend itself, Midwesterners. And anybody else that feels like they need to come together, right? Because of lack of help of defunded police. Okay, because that's the other way that we can look at it. Them shortening the staff on police, or, you know, not paying them enough or something that could be looked at as defunding. But again, it could be making sure that, again, you're not funding or putting energy into or something into those that are policing neighborhoods, you know, like individually, right? If you get my drift of what I'm saying. I think I already talked about this, but they want to stop you from being able to, you know, protect yourselves, right? It's a problem. Like, we can sit there and talk about the crime and pretend to have ways to fix it all over and over and over and over again. But then when we actually get out there and do it, there's a problem there, right? So even though they're cooking things up in these cauldrons, I feel like the hands of the ancestors and the spirit, you know, is speaking, is coming out, is seeping through that breath of God, right? Yeah, they can't hide their hands anymore because it's a time for healing. And that comes with being honest and truth and upfront. That's what I'm missing, my light. I meant to bring it down here. About things, and then moving on from there. But to try to shelter things or stop certain things to be spoken, or call it wokeism or woke so that you can discredit the information, is ridiculous. So again, there's that wolf energy. Okay? Because we're going to continue to shed the light on these things. And we have to also know that there are people like us that are acting as though they're shedding the light, but they're really working for, again, not you. That's all you really need to know. Because there's a lot of trickery going on, right? There's a lot of talk being talked about walls lately. And I think that whole thing about Inanna, right? And we're going to go ahead and go into that. Is talking about, again, the, oh my goodness. Somebody was saying about how people would be trapped in walls for 3 days. And I was wondering if that was representing 3 years, you know, under surveillance or something like that. Or, you know, and then maybe because these things sound like that, some silly people, that's what I'm saying when it comes to the religious aspect sometimes. Some of these things that people do, right? When it comes to their religions and things like that, it wasn't even actually speaking of that. So it kind of looked, for me, some of the things look foolish to me. Because if you really break down what it's saying, it's not saying anything like that about like drinking the blood. And so you have people out there in their cultures that actually drink blood. And maybe that's just what they want to do. And whatever they're doing, that's what they can do. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying? Are we really looking at it? Or is it just saying consuming the blood? And since we're not looking at the real aspect of it, we're getting it all wrong. And then you might be able to realize and understand why, people are missing and things like this in large rates because somebody is consuming the blood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of people sitting there, because not that many people are just drinking blood out of animals. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not making fun of any cultures that do it. But I'm just saying that's what taught me, I think. Right. And then after so long, people are like, yeah, that's what they did. Or by the third generation, my grandma and them did that. And that's not what they did. They knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? You were just indoctrinated by colonizers and started to look at it a different way. Even when it comes to, what's the word? Cannibal. From a little girl, it's like cannibal. Oh, they eat people. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? But then I thought about it. No, it's also consuming the children of, meaning that you're taking on their clothing. You know what I'm saying? You're cloaking yourself in their clothing. You're taking crowns and thrones. You know what I'm saying? You're, like, again, nourishing yourself or taking in something from others. I look at it like that, right? So again, I feel like what someone is doing is trying to sneak us past the whole white dress, on Revelations. But then also the white dress, to me, something just said that this is talking about nationality. And it's funny, we got this kind of like a Native American or like a Little House on the Prairie kind of dress. I mean, it's fly. I'll wear it. I would wear it. Okay. That's just me. All right. But, yeah. Yeah. So again, it's making me think about nationality here, or so-called race, like on forms and stuff like that. And I said, if race really didn't matter, then why do we have them on these silly forms when it comes to a job or when you go to school? If you need to know it for a bank or something, so because you need to know what I look like or get some clues about me, you know what I'm saying? When I'll come into the bank to get some money, you know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about when somebody goes to school, why does it matter? Or your doctor. Okay, that's a good one. If I'm going to the doctor's office because some blood might have to be, and they're going to need to know this thing possibly, right? But why should it matter on my driver's license? Why should it matter on these other things? I mean, I don't know if we ask ourselves these things. So again, people, dress up dolls or pigs, right? And then they place them in positions. And again, it's idol worship. Because you're thinking that idol worship is just when it comes to the cross, right? But again, you still go to the Catholic Church. You still go to these things. But again, it's saying that this is idolatry here in this text, right? Because then they end up worshiping other gods. So that lets you know that there's different gods in the Bible, because it says don't worship other gods. I mean, I'm just saying, there's certain things like that you didn't it just went over our heads your whole entire life. The pastor says there's one, but the word says something else. So again, is the pastor going to be sitting there with you on Judgment Day? You know what I'm saying? Or at whatever time? You know what I'm saying? When you find out that you might be wrong about that, right? So again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of understanding. So yeah, let's go ahead and read this text. I think I've been talking for too much about whatever else. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up Deuteronomy 1. All right. Because again, there's something being done here and somebody is deciding something here to be fair at all times. But this is after some separation already, after something has been already put in place by Moses here. And then something here, where the Lord has multiplied you to become as many as the stars. Okay. So again, this makes me think, right? Oh, now listen, has a white dress. Okay. Okay. So again, multiplied you to be as many as the stars, right? Because the stars and then also the sands of the sea is how some people were multiplied, right? All right, let's read it. Okay. All right. So again, at that time, I told the people, I need help. You are a great burden for me to carry all by myself. For the Lord has multiplied you to become as many as the stars. So again, this is going to be a lot of people. Ooh, now look at that. See, I'm wondering if this has something to do with after the stars had fallen, with that prophecy that Nostradamus was talking about in that. You know, the Lord. So again, is this talking about, again, that B energy? Is that why that B energy keeps coming? Wait a minute. Become as many as the stars. Huh. So this is talking about an elevated, you know, probably an elevated status too. And may multiply you 1,000 times more and bless you as he promised. But what can one man do to settle all the quarrels and problems? So choose some men from each tribe who are wise, experienced, and understanding, and I will appoint them as your leaders. Again, I feel like this is a whole time this stuff is being done behind my back, right? Behind some of our back, okay? And that's the thing. I know, you know what I'm saying, that my presence is strong here on this plane. But I'm not just someone that you just sit there and like a Mona Lisa or something that's just like, you know, up for public display. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I think that's the thing that bothers me. You know, it made me think about that whole Britney Spears energy of that conservatorship. While other people are being exalted when I am, you know what I'm saying? When I know that I am, you know, not only a chosen one, but a holy one, right? And then a royal heir in my, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to be able to take this insight away from me, this knowing, the information that I've obtained over time. And again, I will use what I have and what I feel is necessary to prove what is saying. I'm going to use God. I'm going to use the Elohim and ancestors to show that. Right? Because we can also show that some people have doctored documents in order to become others as well over time. We also know that there are children, right, that were born out of wedlock, right? And I did a video thorough on wedlock because it's not really what they're talking about, right? So again, that slipped through, right? And there's some that were in their high potential and power and placement, but again, because of ruling, other nations came in and knocked them down into lower statuses. And we are here to break those generational curses. Those are the curses. So it's not really like you did something bad and God cursed you in some of these instances. Some of it is just conquering people came in, used their power and their platforms and their, you know, they pillaged and raped and, you know, moved in and they placed you, overpowered you, drugged the men out, killed the males, sent them off to war, left the women there to wed with the men, the seamen that planted their seed in these wombs of these women. They left their mother and fatherland and cleaved onto the wife. And again, it's just to know, it's not, you know, again, we're now in these times. It has happened. Nobody's dwelling on it like that, but we need to know what happened so that we can go ahead and move on. All right. So again, even to foreigners, okay? I am instructed them to be perfectly fair at all times, even to foreigners. But it seems like, again, the foreign, that don't mean that they shouldn't be here if they came here legally, right? But again, in front of our faces, you're going to go ahead and grant illegal immigrants something and still leave American Aborigines or Indians or so-called black people out, or try to give them some free program or something like that. That's really just another form of what do you call it? Enabling the people as a whole for another, and then 3 generations from now, you have no generational wealth, right? And then there's others that have come here that maybe despise you in a sense, right? That are over you in all the positions as mayors and all these other people. And again, the people that are doing these crimes and things, and when it comes to some of these pillaging acts and land grabbing acts that are going on, they're let right out of jail by these same people to go and pillage more of your land. Okay? I'll be there in 1 second. I got 10 minutes left. Yes, I do. I'll be up there in a second to get her. I cannot stop or do anything to this video, so please. I'm coming. Okay. Like yeah, I've been with the child this whole time. People act like they come in to help and they just don't. 20 minutes is too much. Okay? So when giving okay, so again, when giving your decision, I told them never favor a man because he is rich. Be fair to great and small alike. Don't fear their displeasure, for you are judging in the place of God. Bring me any cases too difficult. Bring me any cases too difficult for you, and I will handle them. And I gave them other instructions at that time also. Then we left Mount Horeb and traveled through the great and terrible desert. Okay, so again, we have desert energy here. Okay. But a desert can also be a barren place. It could be a barren womb. You know what I'm saying? It could be barren land. Land can be a person. You know what I'm saying? So again, let's see. For you are judging in the place of God. Okay. Let's see. They left Mount Horeb and traveled through the great, terrible desert, finally arriving among the Amorites. So again, more rights. So I don't know. This is what I see here. Okay. Hills to which the Lord, our God, had directed us. So again, this is not saying Jehovah like it said over here. It's not saying the Lord. It's not saying God. It's not saying Moses. It's saying the Lord, their God, right? I don't know why we wouldn't just continue to use Jehovah if it was talking about that, or whoever else it would be talking about here. Okay. So again, I don't know if this is representing Allah here, that energy there. Again, you know what it's reminding me of? Because I was thinking about that whole siege at that embassy energy. I don't know. We were then at Kadesh, Barnea, on the border of the promised land. Okay, so again, that promised land could be a land, or it could be a people, or it can be a person. If you break down land, to me, I feel like it can be talking about either or, right? Because there's promises being made of women sometimes in the biblical text, and there's promises also made, you know what I'm saying? Some things were promised to certain people, like the choicest pearl and things like this, right? And I said to the people, the Lord God. Okay, so now it's saying, I said to the people, Lord God has given us this land. Go and possess it as he told us to. Don't be afraid. Don't even doubt. But I don't know why I'm thinking about this as some kind of treacherous. This is some kind of, I don't know, it's making me think about some kind of encampment and some kind of, some kind of giving somebody the rights to something that, and I would hate to think that this is what this is talking about. And see, the three people were crying. You got those 3 cups that's knocked over. You got this person that's in sadness, and they're looking at that river that almost looked like the Nile behind that empress. And this is like a desertous, sandy area. There's a bridge there. And then there's 2 cups still sitting here, though. So again, it's making me think about these cups that were knocked down as individuals, right? I mean, to me, that's just what the story is telling me. This person has, sand on his, well, again, you know what I'm saying. Y'all see what I'm kind of doing here. So it's foreign energy. So again, is this son of God energy here? Because the other son is in sackcloth, is looking, being distracted, right? Thrown very mental attacks, physical attacks, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Bound, blinded. There's all these things are just really, they can't really hurt or touch the person, right? Right? They're too holy, right? So they'll just send in indirect, direct missiles, fire shots, like gunshots, like shots, even like with your mouth firing off shots. So they want to ban that kind of work when it comes to you running off at the mouth, and when it comes to the weapons to protect yourself. And your mouth becomes a weapon when you protect yourself with it. How does that even work? How does that even work? How does your mouth become a weapon when you're trying to protect yourself? And we wonder why we seen people with these things on their faces, and why, again, when we went to sharecropping, that the so-called black slave could not speak, which was not a slave, but a prisoner of war, because that means somebody came into your lands and defeated you there. And then you became under their jurisdiction somehow. You are not the Slavnik or Slavic people that came here. There was only less than 300,000 of those people that came from Africa, and I doubt that they even looked like us. There could have been lighter skinned or so-called white people that came from Northern Africa, especially when it came to South America. Right? So again, this could be a son of man, because everything else is yellow here, right? But he might be clothed in sackcloth and sad now here. This 5 of Cups. That's just kind of like what I'm seeing here with that. All right? Yeah. So again, somebody saying go possess it. And I don't know why I felt like, like I said, because I'm going here. The whole astral world energy. And people are blaming someone for this, but I'm telling y'all, I feel like it was a force of something else when it comes to that whole astral, whatever the concert was. I really think that was something a little bit more powerful. And maybe it was trying to tell us something. About using some of man's tools in order to get into people's privacy or private space, possibly. I don't know. Using things in a abusive, nature, possibly. I don't know. Right? Just that term alone, you know what I'm saying? Just that term alone. Was that a strike? Of some God that was upset and saying, hey, I don't know. I don't know how anybody could, like I said, blame somebody for it. But I mean, I guess they'll put anything on the media in order to get you distracted and paying attention to it. But again, I feel like, again, that was something else. Excuse me. So again, go possess it, and told us, don't be afraid, don't even doubt. Okay, so again, this I'm getting like rape and pillage energy here. I promise you that's what I'm getting. But they replied, first let's send out spies to discover the best route of entry and to decide which cities we should capture first. So again, this is making me think about the Dumb Diverses, the Saracens, and which is Sarah and Sabaean. Sometimes I feel like that has something to do with that. I don't know, whatever, but I do think it has something to do with the sons of Sarah, right? But Northern African entities, okay? Yeah. So again, what cities, right? So I think, maybe these are talking about like providences or cities like that in that state, or these cities could also be talking about bodies or being, like I said, I don't know. I can't remember what cities actually means when I break it down in etymology. Okay. So again, this is making me think, and it's got me a little concerned, like I said, because one of my daughters, is out of town right now. And I feel like, again, there's a lot of this, waiting game as to somebody is, kind of, if you ain't in this place, you probably don't know what I mean, right? Where it's like this energy, remember, all your duckies are not at home. And actually, we know where they are because we know where all of you are all the time. And that could be just too much. But again, we do have a lot of missing teens and a lot of missing women and children. But they replied, first let us send out spies. Okay. They seemed like a good idea. This seemed like a good idea. So I chose 12 spies. This makes me think about 12 disciples. Okay. One from each tribe. They crossed into the hills and came into the valley of Eshol, which makes me think about the Echelon. And again, I pinpointed areas very close by, again, that have something to do with this. Okay. It's very strange if I took you there, even to the point where I went. I don't know how I ended up there, but I went on this website, and it was a Jewish website, right? But I'm talking about from Israel over there, right? And some people were speaking like in a different language and things like that on the platforms. But I was reading some of these stories, and it was kind of like people were talking about something that was going on like in the back end or whatever. And I told you I'm very, when it comes to the mind and things like this, right? So again, it was saying something about the echelon, and it said something about some kind of tool or something that was placed somewhere, or that, something was used to detect. I don't know. It was just something. It would creep me out, kind of like mad scientist kind of stuff, like somebody, having access or whatever to personal, documents or information. I don't. It was just really weird. Like I said, we never know when you're signing your DNA over for like these DNA services for like, genealogy and stuff like that. You never know what they're doing with it, but because when you're signing those paperwork, you're signing for some of these places to have full access to the information and to be able to do whatever they want to do with it after they're done. If they want to send it to some laboratory that wants to take it and use it for some kind of science to create pig beetles, you know what I'm saying? They can do that if they wanted to, you know what I'm saying? So again, I'm just saying being very careful with that. And then again, when it comes to hospitals, once you start digging into stuff like that and you see some of the things, and with some of these things that they were doing at abortion clinics, it's just very, and some of the things that are in some of these antidotes that come from those places. So it's very sinister, I think, the further you go up into any of these things, because they all have, look at me, needing some lotion. So they all have their own like pyramid kind of scheme, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it says the valley of, okay, in return with samples of the local fruit. Shut the y'all, I don't even, do we need, girl, oh, I don't know, I just got like this tremor in my arm. Ugh. I'm telling you, listen to what I'm saying, y'all. That's why I like this Living Bible. Look it. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Because again, crafty counsel. You ever notice like on those movies, like in middle, like old, I was gonna say Middle Ages, but I'm not trying to think of that. Like in the olden days, how the people would be underneath some kind of temple like this, some kind of thing like this, whisper like, oh yes, like plotting or whatever. I don't know why. Maybe I just used to watch too much television. I really did. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh my goodness. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, look at this. I'm telling you. And she has shoes that are of the earth, right? And then his are the sand of the sea. But still, they are adding these samples. I'm telling y'all, this is something we're talking about here. This is something that we're talking about. To grab some samples of the local fruit. Is that why this apple is out here? And then the ill energy. Oh my goodness. Oh. An elixir. Look at that. And it's so funny because when you look at the term brewery or Bruton, it's about like some kind of a elixir. So again, or like mixing, or, a brewery or something like this, right? But it's kind of like also gives me alchemy there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why that cauldron is there already too. And then again, being connected to nature, the volcano here, Because I'm telling you, it's like I'm with, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I sit there and I listen to volcanoes and it's almost like I'm like one with them, right? But then also one with humanity. But I don't know why she's got this bloody egg in her hand. She look like she's pulled that damn. Okay. She pulled it right out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if that look humane or not. I don't think it do. Um, but yeah, elixir, and it's funny how like they made that brew for, um, which again could be even when we're talking about that porridge. That's like somebody putting a whole bunch of bull. Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you what the porridge is on these cards. Okay, this is what Source just told me. Where is it? Y'all, I need to get it right. Look, this temperance, the foot on the water and the earth, mixing, those red wings, looking sneaky. I promise she looked like this girl. Look like the moon. I promise you. What? What was I just looking for? What was I just looking for, y'all? It just slipped my mind that quick. Okay, here. A mixture. Thought that she was lapping up the blood, right? Right? Thought that she was lapping up the blood. But again, I wonder if somebody thinks, again, that they might have had, again, me fooled with leading me in a certain direction. Because I think that there is some trickery going on when it comes to guides too, right? Right? Because in the cups cards, you know, this is the real thing that's going on, right? Behind the scenes, right? Maybe why, you know, I suspected this pregnant energy for a very long time, right? But this is what, you know, this is what the illusion that was being given to the sun, right? While these individuals or entities were, you know, conspiring this behind the scenes. And then you see how the temperance card is enlightened, right? It's not bright as the sun, but you know, it's kind of dull or whatever. But she got this disc or whatever on her forehead over her mind's eye. So I don't know if that's some kind of something to be able to use somebody else's energy or cipher somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? She got the light bulb right with her. So again, that just makes me think, like I said, it just seems like mirroring energy, monitoring spirits, and all these kind of things, right? So again, I feel like somebody was barren. Somebody was barren. I'm telling you, this has to do with someone that is in the southeast. We're just going to say it. I think Georgia was barren. I think New York was barren. And I think that Chicago, the Midwest or whatever was not. And I think that, again, they took a lot of grapes. I'll just put it like that. Because those kids be kings. They'll just be make sure yours ain't. And then they'll say it's a curse on your family because of something that you did when these people are doing way worse things behind the scenes. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them I will always cherish the relationship and respect. And have love for. Look at this. Conscious connection. And it's almost like a mirroring image. There are two entities here, but it's almost like she could be looking in the mirror, but she's doing something different, or she's dull and look that way in the mirror, but you know, on the other side, she's looking like that. Bring it into form. Okay. So again, this, I don't know why I think about barren land whenever I see the footsteps of Jesus, so-called, in the sand, right? Look like, you know, if anything, if it was a Yeshua Christ energy, or again, that wisdom energy, she would be walking through there trying to find out where her children went, right? Bring it into form. Because again, when they was warned not to mess with that tree because they was going to die, because they knew somebody warned them not to mess with that tree, but these were stiff-necked people that didn't want to listen. And again, a lot of these people are possibly dangerous. You know, they'd rather get rid of your ass, you know. Could you imagine people taking up crafty counsel and splitting up riches and gifts, even when it comes to spiritual gifts, tapping into people's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even dealing with, you know, tapping into your melanin. Those who are created creatures. Again, a creature is just something that was created. Fortunately or unfortunately, in the biblical text, it's talking about people. All right. So it says here, all right. So again, seemed like a good idea. So I told the 12 spies, okay, all right. Indeed, the land of the Lord God had been given us, but the people refused to go in and rebelled against the Lord's command. I'm almost done. I got 5 minutes. Okay, I got 5 minutes. I'm coming.